Hello, welcome to start up another reading vlog. I recently finished Arcana Academy and One for My Enemy last week, and now we're on to a new week, which kinda is the reading period before my finals. I have a final next week and then another final in 2 weeks. So we're in the trenches, but I don't have classes. So like we're done with the classes, it's just the reading period and exam preparation. And it's a chaotic time, it's not a good time, but one thing that has been my saving grace for the last couple days has been like I go to the library, I spend like 5-6 hours there, I come back home around like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and then I just grab a book and like read it for like 2 hours or like 3 hours, and it really messes up my sleep schedule. But I've really enjoyed it, and it's like my favorite time of the day because I can do something for myself that is pretty enjoyable. So that's good, even though like it makes me very tired the next day. You lose some, you win some. So we'll take our losses and we'll take our wins. And this week I really debated on what to read for a very long time. I even like asked a lot of people like, please choose me a random book. Like I showed people my books and we're like, can you choose a book that you think like the cover looks pretty or whatever? But then even if they told me something, I was not satisfied, and it came to a point that for like 2 days or like 3 days I couldn't start a book because I was not able to decide. And then at one point last night I was like, oh, I just gotta start, like I just gotta grab something and start, like, or otherwise I'm in this like decision paralysis that is really preventing me from reading. But my thought process was that I wanted something romantic. I was like craving a romance, but in a very devastating way. I think like coming out of One for My Enemy, I was in that like high of like like not very romantic, but like love that is very deep and hurts and is emotional, that kind of stuff. I don't know, I just want to torture myself, I guess. Okay, unfortunately my battery died, but I think I was just talking about how one of the books that I really wanted to read was Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. Again, I know that it's such a lyrical, like beautiful, emotional book about a love between a goddess and a mortal human, and I'm super excited to read that. So I was thinking about that, and then I was also thinking about Thrown in the Dark. I know that it's like a funny like grumpy versus sunshine dynamic, but like the male character that is trying to be like grumpy and evil is actually like such a sweetie. And then he's like struggling to put on this facade and be like, I'm actually like very tough and I'm a villain and I'm dark and mysterious, but he's actually such a sweetie. So I felt like that could be a fun read to have during like final season. And then because of that, I was also thinking about maybe reading like Match Point or Clean Point, which are both like tennis-based romances. And lastly, I was thinking about reading When Among Crows by Veronica Roth, because again, like I just finished Fun for My Enemy, really into Slavic cultural like folklore themes, so I was thinking like I could maybe go on the same vibes. But then I eventually just like couldn't decide at all. Like I was staring at my books for the longest time trying to decide. I also even did like the Wheel of Names thing, and then Wild Reverence came up a lot, Thrown in the Dark came up a lot, but I just like couldn't be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna read. Like I just couldn't stick to it. And for some reason I picked up Under the Oak Tree Volume 2 by Suji Kim. I recently finished Volume 1. Again, this is not a book that I know how to describe, and again, like please check the trigger warnings. And I'm super glad that in this volume like there's like a letter from the author that kind of mentions like the darker themes of this book. So I really like that they put that disclaimer here in this volume, because in the first one, the first like chapter starts off with like a description of an essay and I just like really didn't like it. That's why like I didn't know how to rate this book, like the first one. And I only decided to continue on with the series because I really like Maxie, the main character. And then I was very curious about her journey of like learning magic, learning how to actually be comfortable with herself, like trying to get some confidence and feel like she can do things, and then kind of become this like woman that is actually like very powerful, because like she's always described as like being very fragile, very emotional, very dainty. But I was just like very curious to see where her story would go. So we were reading this. I don't know why. Again, like this is shorter than the first one, so I'm hoping it's gonna be a quick read. And I liked the first one. It was okay, except for like the weird smutty scenes, and I really don't like the male character Rifton. But okay, it's okay. We're not here for Rifton. We're here for Maxie. And I started reading this book last night after I came back from the library at 1 a.m. And I think I'm on page 102. And so far, I really like it because it's a little different from the first one, in that I think people, especially Maxie, realized how suffocating some of the actions of the male character are. Like, I'm glad that we are beginning to acknowledge the toxic side of this relationship, and I'm not sure like where it's gonna go, but I really like it. And I really like how she is putting herself out there more and using her magic, so I'm excited to see where that's gonna go. Again, these are like more little pieces of fiction that is easy to read and digest, so I really like that. And yeah, we'll see how that will go. My plan is to finish this book this week while like I'm studying for the finals, and then we'll decide the next one. I really have no idea what we're gonna be reading, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I just got out of a job interview for a place that I interned for last summer, and I'm hoping to return back there for the spring semester. I think it went well. I generally don't ever say my interviews were okay or that they went well, but I'm hoping this was okay. And I'm hoping that they will let me go back because I really enjoyed working there. It was truly such a good time, such a good experience and opportunity. And I would really like to go back and intern there once again. So we'll see how that will result. Wish me luck. And it really messed up my whole day because the interview was at 4:30. So I spent the whole day waiting for that in anticipation to happen. So I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get any work done. I couldn't work on my outline, but I kind of made plans to get out after my interview and just like go to Barnes and Noble, go to Bath and Body Works, because today is candle day. So all the 3-wick candles are $9.99. This is not an ad. So I really want to go there, grab a couple candles, also get my reward, because I have like a reward from there. And then I have a couple things that I need to return at Whole Foods. So it's just like running some errands, and then at the end I'm hoping to go back to Barnes and Noble and then just sit down there and read my book. But it's just like, it's 5 p.m. and it's super dark. Like, I really hate it. I really hate how this looks like it's 1 a.m. and it feels like I shouldn't go out and I should actually be home because like it's nighttime, but it's not. I can actually go out. I'm trying to convince myself, but yeah, this is the plan. Hello. So I'm here back again at my desk, the usual place, and I have to study as usual, per usual. I have my constitutional law outline open once again, And yesterday was a fumble. I fumbled big time. Really only studied for like an hour, and I was planning to study for like 8 hours. So the plan was to like study for 8 hours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be able to like be done with the whole class. We'll need to adjust that. We'll need to make some adjustments. We'll need to get a little bit faster for all of this to work, because again, yesterday I just like, whenever I have something to do around like afternoon or something, I just like in my mind mentally block myself from doing anything else until I'm done with that thing, which is like horrible. But I just like couldn't study before my job interview, and then after the job interview I went outside. I was gonna go to Barnes & Noble, but then changed my mind. I went to Whole Foods to like drop a couple Amazon returns, and then went to Bath & Body Works because they were doing their like candle day. Got a couple candles and came back home. It was freezing cold, and it was so like dark outside and cold, and I just like, when I came back home, didn't want to do anything. I just ate my like Chick-fil-A and had a wonderful time. So yeah, so we need to lock in today. Today needs to be the most productive day ever, and it's already 3 p.m. so we're not off to a good start, unfortunately. But I'll just like lock in right now and try to get like 3 hours of studying done from like 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and then hopefully do another like a batch of like 5 hours from like 8 to 11, no, 8 to 1 or something like that. So wish me luck. And I know that this is supposed to be a reading log, but no reading is taking place. I think I only managed to read 20 pages or something since my last update, and I don't think I have anything substantial to say. Apart from that, I'm just like questioning why I'm reading this book, not gonna lie. I feel like I was craving something very deep. I think I talked about like how I really want to read something like very lyrical, very emotional, but then I went ahead and picked this one, and it's not doing anything for me. Like, it's just like an easy, low stakes read, and I feel like this is what I needed during finals. But at the same time, like, this is not engrossing me, which is maybe a good thing because I need to study and not read my book. But then I don't have anything, I don't know, like I just do not feel like I want to read this book. But I like it, like it's okay, but it's just like nothing groundbreaking or anything, and I knew that it was not going to be groundbreaking. That's why I chose it. But now I'm complaining it's not groundbreaking and questioning why I chose it. I don't know. I think you can feel that I'm having a lot of questions. But yeah, nearly like 30% done with it. My plan was to finish it this week, but I don't think that's gonna happen. We'll hopefully finish it next week, probably like when I do my exam on Tuesday. It's like an 8-hour take-home exam. Afterwards I won't be studying like on that specific day, so I'll probably read it. Hopefully by that time I'll be able to finish it, but I'll update you guys. Okay, I actually just recorded this video, but for some reason there was no sound, so we're gonna redo it again. And it was a long one too. But anyways, I'm here to give a little update on what I've been reading so far. I know that these updates have been very sparse, but it's the final final season, having a very rough time. We're really in the trenches here. But I finished my constitutional law exam 2 days ago. It was on Tuesday, and it was a 8-hour take-home exam. Generally my exams are like go to a classroom, like a proctored exam for 4 hours, but this was in a different format and it was my first time doing something like that. And it took me a little over 6 hours to submit my exam, and it was intense. And I feel like just because I was home and I had that like huge chunk of time, I was a little bit relaxed. Like I was not going which is something I would normally do if I was in like a classroom setting, but limited like 4 hours. So maybe that's why it took me like a little over 6 hours, but that was intense and it was hard, not gonna lie. And one fun thing about taking constitutional law right now is that law changes a lot. Our decisis, what's that? We don't know her. Like it changes a lot, and there will be a lot of cases in which you're like, oh, is this going to be overturned? Probably yes. Like one of the questions, I'm not going to reveal what the question was, but it was literally, the hypo was about something that happened a day prior to the exam, and it's about like a possibility of a decision, like a long-standing decision being overturned. So it was an interesting time to be taking constitutional law, but I'm so glad I'm done with that exam. I think I studied for like over 55 hours for that exam, like around maybe 53. I actually calculated, and it was really consuming my life. So Tuesday I did nothing after the exam. I was just like, for some reason on Facebook groups, looking at like special editions of like special books with no intention of buying them because I'm broke. But anyways, it was fun. It was like a market research. And then my plan was to like start studying for my next and final exam, which is International Human Rights, and it's gonna be on next Wednesday. Yes, the 17th. So I was planning to start studying for that on Wednesday. So like I packed up everything. I decided to go to Barnes and Noble. But the moment I arrived there, I was at like the little Starbucks there. I just didn't want to study. I was like, I don't want to study here. Like I really have zero motivation and the will to study right now. So I just like cruised around. I looked at books. I actually grabbed like Under the Oak Tree and then started reading that a little bit while I was sipping my coffee. And now let me give you a little update. I'm on page 298, I think. I really had like a little less than 100 pages to finish this book, and I kind of regret picking up this book, and I knew I was gonna regret it, because when I'm like studying for like 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours in a day, one thing I really want is like when I'm done with my studying, just like lay down here, grab my book, and really be immersed in the world. Like really, I want that book to take me somewhere else where constitutional law does not exist. I mean, hopefully law exists for the citizens of that specific world, but you get me. And then this is not it. Like I knew it was not gonna be it. This is like very low stakes, very low world building, not very intricate story, and I knew that. But I just found myself unwilling to read this book. Like I remember on Monday, Sunday, I was like, oh, I really want to read my book. Like I really want to read. But then I was like, I don't want to read this. Like, anyways, again, the only reason why I want to read this book and continue on with the series is that Maxie, and in this book, she is actually becoming a mage. Like now she is learning how to use her magical powers. He's especially like very good at healing magic. So like she's healing a lot of people in the village, in a castle. She's really trying to be helpful. And I really like seeing that. I really like seeing her grow. I really like seeing her like try to help others, really standing her ground, standing on business. But then Rifton, that man, like, okay, his line of thinking is that he really doesn't want her to be a mage. He really doesn't want her to be doing magic, using her magic, because like it's tiring. There's something called like mana, and then like you can get like basically pretty tired if you do it a lot, or like faint and stuff. So like, okay, your worry is like pretty legit, I understand, but then he's obsessed with the idea that like he has to provide for her the most comfortable life ever. But then I'm like, sir, did you ever think that maybe the reason why she's not having a comfortable life is because you're not letting her do whatever she wants? Like, you're not letting her live the life she wants to live. Maybe the problem is you. And then there will be like some scenes. Oh, at one moment, like they were talking about, like, they were having a fight about this like magic thing, and then he just said like, shut your mouth. And I just like really froze like when I read that sentence. I'm like, why are you being so rude? Like, she's trying to be helpful. Like, there are better ways to express our worry. Like, it's not like dark and mysterious and cool. Like, it is not. You're literally shutting someone. You're like, shut your mouth in front of like all the knights and stuff. Anyway, I really don't like Rifta. But Maxie, I want to learn more, and now they're finally going to a war together. She's actually joining the knights as a mage, so that's exciting. And I only have like 100 pages left, and I'm excited to read that last part and see what's gonna happen. But it was just like so slow, nothing happened for pages. So yeah, that's where I am. And I really need to choose my next book very, very, very in a way that's gonna allow me to enjoy it. We'll get there. And then I went to Barnes & Noble, as I told you. And then I was cruising around, having a good old time. And then if you ever been to the Union Square Barnes & Noble, which I think is the biggest biggest bookstore in the United States, or maybe in the world. I'll get to that. I'll do a little research on that and update you. But it's like so big, it's like 4 floors. Love that. Such a heaven. And I cannot believe that like that's my local Barnes & Noble. I love that. Anyways, I went there and then I was cruising around. The 4th floor is where like the fantasy books are. Like, there's this like horror, mystery, fantasy, and then like sci-fi section, so like this elf shape. And then there will be like shelves here, and those are like manga. And I think Union Square Barnes & Noble has like the most extensive manga collection ever for like any Barnes & Nobles. And I'm not someone that generally reads comic books. Like, my comic book knowledge is like pretty limited. I've read like Lore Olympus and We Married Empress when they were on Webtoon, and then I bought the books when they got published, but like that's about it. And then I was just like looking at stuff. I was trying to see if anything caught my eye, maybe this like an area I want to explore more. And then all of a sudden, wait, I saw this Twisted Wonderland. Okay, and here's the thing. In 2022, I think, Disney published a gacha game called Twisted Wonderland. Here's Will. Here's the game. And I started playing this game, and basically what this game is, it's in a school, and then there are different houses, pretty much like Harry Potter. There are like different houses based on like each evil character from like Disney story. So like one house will be the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland, one house will be like Maleficent, one house will be Ursula, the Sea Witch from Ariel, those kind of things. And I really like that. I really like twisting stories. I really like having fairy tales and then focusing more on the villains. And then this is literally like an all-boys school. I think they say it's a college, but it reads more like a high school. Anyway, I really like that. And I remember playing that game for a very limited time, because when I was playing, only the first 2 like books that were focusing on the first 2 houses were out, and then I couldn't get past a certain chapter because I didn't have enough level and I didn't know how to level up. So I stopped playing that game. But then I vividly remember when I started playing that game, there was this character called Malleus, which was based on Maleficent. And I remember talking to myself and saying, oh, I wish they were doing the chapter for this house, and I wish we were able to learn more about Malleus. I remember saying that, and then I stopped playing that game, And then yesterday when I was looking around, I saw Twisted Wonderland. I was like, wait, Disney Twisted Wonderland? Like, is this the game? And turns out they actually turned the game into comic books. And they have the full like arc of the first book, which was focused on Heartstable, like the Alice in Wonderland, Red Queen vibes. And then there are like other books are also out, like a couple books from the second series, the third, they're out. And I was like, wait, I didn't know they actually turned this game into a comic book. So I was super excited. I actually like, sat down and just like went through all the books, and I was like super happy. And then I didn't buy the books. I came back home, and then I was just in this like flow state of like Twisted Wonderland. I re-downloaded the game, and then I learned that I kind of knew about this, but I don't think I did anything with that information. And then I learned that they also published an anime, which I'm gonna I'm gonna watch after studying, hopefully. There's also the anime. So I was in this like the game, manga, novels, the anime, in this like Twisted Wonderland flow state, and I started playing the game once again. And what do I see? I started playing this game yesterday, which was December 10th. On December 9th, this game got a new patch. A new patch for the house that I wanted to see in 2022. The character story for Malleus. I mean, it was meant to be. I was meant to go back to this game, and I was meant to go back to this story, because now it's the time. Literally yesterday, no, 2 days ago, they published the patch with the storyline. I mean, it took them 3 years apparently, but okay, like, here, let's go. And I was like, this is fate. This is exactly fate. And then I downloaded the game, started playing the game. Now I know how to level up, fortunately. And then I was just like having such a good time. I was like, oh yeah, I like being back to this storyline. I love it. And then I was like, I want to buy the books. And then I really wanted to buy them from Barnes & Noble because I wanted the stamps. And then I could get them shipped, but there was the possibility that they may not have arrived before I left for winter break. So I was like, what time is it? And it was 7:53 or something. And then I was like, when does Barnes & Noble close? They close at 9 apparently, at least in New York. And I was like, we gotta run. I just like dressed up, ran to the subway, took the subway, went to Barnes & Noble, literally like ran upstairs to the 4th floor, grabbed this box set. Because I was just like, okay, like they have the full box set for the first chapter, the first book. I'm just gonna start with that one. I'm not gonna buy the other books for now because they're not complete in their like own books. And I was like, I'm just gonna like grab it, and left Barnes & Noble. Literally like I think 30 minutes they were supposed to close, so good timing. But I'm so excited, and I really want to show you the books. This is the first book. First book is again focused on the Heartstable. I'm just gonna say Heartstable. And this is the box set. And I really like Riddle. And here is the cover of the first book. I think this is incredibly beautiful. Like the art style is just like so beautiful. We have Ace and Deuce here. I really like Ace. I think Ace is my favorite character from this house. We have Trey and Cater. Like Cater too. And then Ace and Deuce once again. So it's the first 4 books. And I'm really excited to read. One thing that surprised me is that this is like, the game is like a YN situation. So you just like put your own name or like whatever name you want. And for that reason, I always thought we were a girl. Like, I was a girl. And I thought like I was the only girl in this like all male school. But the main character here is a boy. Which is like interesting. I didn't know we were a man. But I'm excited. I'm really excited to read this. My plan is to actually get some studying done for international human rights. Then maybe start watching the anime when I'm like eating my dinner. and then study a little bit more. When I'm done, read the last 92 pages of this book, and then maybe start a little bit with the first book. But yeah, I'm super excited. Okay, I'm actually disheveled. Like, I look so freaking ugly. My room's a mess. I'm a mess. Everything's a mess. My mind is a big mess. I've been studying for my International Human Rights exam for more than I don't know how many days. I lost count. I don't know where I am. I don't know what time it is. I don't know who I am. It's rough. There are like 26 classes, and then there are just like pages of readings, and I'm, for some reason I thought it would be a good idea to just like read literally everything, like the whole course, the full semester of like 4 months, me trying to read it in like 5 days or something. And then I really regret not studying on Wednesday because it messes up my whole plan. Like, if I literally had one more day, everything would be so much better, but the consequences of my own actions are so bad. I studied for 9 hours yesterday. Right now I think we're on hour 4:30. From there, 6. It's been 6 hours. We have a long way to go. I think I'm gonna study for like 3 more hours, so it's gonna be again like something akin to 9 or something. But it's rough. I actually finished Under the Oak Tree last night. Like, literally, I think I stopped studying around 2:30. And then I grabbed my book because I had around like 60 pages left or something. And then I sat down and just like read it. I was like, I'm just gonna finish this book. Like, this is my only saving grace for today. It's 3 a.m. I don't care. I'm just gonna sit down and finish my book. And I did. And I think I'm gonna like let you know what I thought about the book. But for the last like 50 pages, I think that was my favorite part of the book. And not because like anything important or like revolutionary is happening, because like generally the last few pages, especially if you read Brandon Sanderson, are like good parts of the book, like every book. But like this was a webtoon turned into novel, so like when a book ends, it does not necessarily end on like a book end. Like, that's not a book end, but it's more like this is just where we wanted to stop. I don't know if it's making sense, but like those like 50 pages hit. And I think like probably because I was just so tired and just like needed to read something than International Human Rights. So those like 50 pages were like awesome. I related. There was like one scene with them like kissing and making out, smutty scene in the rain, which I really like. Like, normally I don't like their smutty scenes because I don't like riffed on. Why am I reading this book if I don't like the other main character anyway? But like that scene in the rain was cute. I liked it. I actually liked it. And then they started like sailing. Always love a good like ship subplot like that. Those parts were good. And I think I'm gonna read when I'm done with my, I have like pages and pages of international law because we had our book, like our professor shared his book with us, and it was like a PDF. So I didn't go and buy the book because he was like, here's a free PDF of my book, but if you want you can like purchase it on Amazon. Then I always like use the book because I generally always only use like digital books because I use my iPad. But then right now the exam is closed book, so like in a way it's not closed book, but it's like closed computer, so we cannot access anything on our computers, which sucks because I generally really prefer my notes to be here and I really like control Fing things. But he said like you can bring any like printed material, so I decided to print the whole book. And I'm just like going through reading every single page again and taking notes and highlighting, and then also creating an outline. My outline is I think like 50 pages now, and I feel like I'm on class 13. There are 26 classes. Today is Sunday. The exam is on Wednesday. Like tomorrow, like Monday and Tuesday has to be like the most productive days ever of my life. Like something amazing has to happen, and I'm scared for Monday, for tomorrow, because tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment with dermatology. I have my therapist appointment. I applied for a fellowship that is probably going to be announced tomorrow, because they said like by December 15, and tomorrow is December 15. I'm also waiting to hear back. This is a summer internship, and then I'm waiting to hear back for another internship position for spring. They said like last Friday, but they didn't send anything, so maybe tomorrow. The problem is that like if I receive a bad news, and if it's like a disappointing email or something, they're like, we decided to go with another candidate, I'm just gonna be like, I don't want to study, life is over. Like I'll be so not motivated to study. I'm already like hanging by a thread. But yeah, I'll return back to studying, go back to my international human rights readings. And like the sad thing about studying law is that like everything is sad. Like right now I am reading about like climate refugees, and it's sad. And it's just especially sad when you think about the future and what's gonna happen, and like every single topic is just like sad because it's like human rights violations. But yeah, I guess that's on me for choosing to study law. But I'll see you soon, hopefully with an update on the whole review of Under the Oak Tree. Oh, I was talking about what I'm gonna read next. Sorry, my brain, it's very scattered. I think I'm gonna read We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. I had the beautiful Ariel edition. I was actually not normally planning on reading this, but I saw a lot of people raving about this book, being like, this is just such a good book, and a lot of people were saying that they read it like pretty fast, and that's what I need. I need a book that will allow me to like read it pretty fast, because like one thing I really struggled with Under the Oak Tree was that I was bored. I didn't want to read. So I think I'm gonna read that tonight, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be done before 2:30, but see you soon.